Trev TV. I'm the Trev. That's too sweet. Anyway, coming at you with another edition of Storytime with the Trev. And, well, this edition of Storytime, we're going all the way back to March. I could have told this story back in March, but I figured now is just as good a time as any. But for this edition of Storytime, I'm talking to you about contests and what happens when your kids win them. This is the story of when Hailey, check her channel out here, became an Oiler for a day. And I gotta say, as excited as she was to win this contest, this guy, who has set up and down hockey his life, was just as excited, if not more excited, but definitely more excited for her as opposed to the things I was going to be able to check off on the bucket list. So, without further ado, here's the story of when Hailey was an Oiler for a day. Let's talk about it. Alright, so let's lay it down here first. How this all came about is Boston Pizza, the restaurant in Alberta and cross country, decided they were going to have their, I don't know if it's annual or semi-annual, if they do it once every 2 years or once every year, but they had a contest where you could enter your kids to literally be an Oiler for a day. I mean, they wouldn't be playing in a game or anything, but they got to go through all the rigors and routines that a normal Oiler would go through in a day. And this is a contest that was open to Edmonton and surrounding area because there were people there that were from Cold Lake and Lloydminster, so it wasn't just a local Edmonton thing, but there was a lot of people from Edmonton. And I can't tell you how many people entered, but I can tell you 63 people's names were drawn, and Hailey was one of them. And here's the part where, being a hockey dad, where hockey is life, this is what made me extremely happy. Part of her prize for entering this contest was tickets to the hockey game the day before. So, on March 22nd, her and I went to go see the Oilers play the Seattle Kraken. And I'm pretty sure I said this in the top 10 video on the hockey show. For a guy who's been a fan of the team well before they were even a team, for a guy who was waiting for this team, this was my first time seeing the Kraken. For Hailey, this wasn't her first Oilers game. Her first Oilers game came when she was a wee little Hailey. I'm pretty sure it was back in 2018 when she got to go see the Washington Capitals. Now, this game was broadcast countrywide, so she could have been on TV for all I know. The downer side to it was an 8 p.m. start. So if this is going to be an extended game, we were in for a long night. We were in for a long night all the same, but the point remains, we got to go see the Oilers play the Seattle Kraken. But for Hailey's sake, when it comes to Rogers Arena, she can now say she's been in pretty much every section of the arena. The lower bowl, behind the net, the luxury boxes, and now up by the banners. The seats they gave us were very high up. Not that I'm complaining. And while the results were not what I would have desired, being a 5-4 Oilers win, the Kraken did come within one. We did get to see Capo Caco score 2, and Hailey got to see her first in-person hat trick as Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scored 3. Now, keep in mind, there was no Draisaitl and there was no McDavid in this game. So the Oilers were playing essentially with a second line, which they disguised as and called a first line. But all the same, the Oilers won. Hailey was happy, which means every game that Hailey has gone to, be it Oilers, Oil Kings, the home team's never lost. So she's got that kind of a streak going on when it comes to hockey games. And come the end of the game, she was dead tired. But we made it home in one piece, awake and intact. Which now brings us to March 23rd. And after getting to Rogers bright and early in the morning and checking in, they decided that the best way to accommodate all 68, 63 people, I forget how many I just said, was to separate them in groups. And these groups would all take turns doing everything they had lined out for the day. Now, Hailey was in the group that was going to get drafted first. But before she got drafted, we got to take a nice little scenic tour of the places we haven't seen yet in Rogers Arena. And after waiting and waiting and waiting for the guy who was going to sign her one-day contract, we finally got to the draft.
Next up, we have Hailey. Hi, Hailey. Oh, you're excited. You're excited.
Now, The awesome part of this part of the draft was her getting her contract signed. And it wasn't getting signed by just some guy that happened to be in the front office, or it wasn't even Stanley Cup Bowman. It was Hall of Famer Paul Coffey. The awesome part to that is, growing up, my dad's favorite hockey player is, well, as far as I know, still is, but was Paul Coffey. So it was a nice little rubbing it in moment. Now, I don't know what all was said up there, and that's okay. It's not for me to know. But I can tell you, the contract looks a lot like this. And if you want the close-up of Paul Coffey's signature, it looked a lot like this. So after all was said and done on the getting drafted end and signing the contract end and getting her jersey end, and the last name does fit with a smaller font, it went to going to meet up with the Boston Pizza mascot, and got a picture there. Then came her draft interview. And I gotta say, she did remarkably well.
Hailey, can you spell me your first name?
You like smart goals.
What else did you play though?
You like playing goalie? Yeah.
All those years of making sticks.
EY.
Yeah.
Right on. Hailey, congratulations on being at Edmonton Oilers today.
Thank
What are
you.
you most excited for today? Skating. And who's your favorite Edmonton Oilers?
Center with McDavid and Draisaitl, you can do it.
Say,
Put you on the
can you
power
repeat
play,
after
too.
me? My favorite Edmonton Oiler
And
is...
apparently, then if we need you to go back in the goal, you're going to hop in there also. So
Awesome.
you bug.
You have fun today. Congratulations, and have
You
fun.
ready?
And after, having my little proud dad moment and all that stuff, we went to the Hall of Fame room again. Now, it wasn't our first time in the Hall of Fame room, but every time in the Hall of Fame room is always a nice little treat, because you always discover something new, or it's always nice to look at things you've already seen. I mean, not every team, I think, in the NHL has their own Hall of Fame room. And there, we got to look at the neat little artifacts that are in the Hall of Fame room, and Hailey even got to hold the stick once held by Connor McDavid. And I'm not going to lie, she was in her glory at that moment. And after about, I would say, half an hour, 45 minutes in the Hall of Fame room, we went up with former Edmonton Oiler, Jason Strudwick. And it's, I guess, a good point to note here, Jason Strudwick is the first signature on Hailey's jersey. Hopefully not the last. And after a neat little Q&A where we got to, ask Strudwick any kind of question, well, more or less the kids got to ask Strudwick any question that they had on the top of their head, came the fun part, skating on the ice. Now, I don't know how many other people have had the fortune of skating on NHL-sized ice in an NHL building. It is a treat. Oh my goodness, is it ever a treat. It puts things in perspective. You're skating on the ice in an 18,000-seat arena. I might be exaggerating on that. I don't know. I don't know the exact numbers at Rogers. Looking up at center ice, see the giant scoreboard and all the empty seats around you. And Hailey got to sit in the penalty box, which is awesome. And that lasted for a good half hour, another 45 minutes, give or take. And after that, all was said and done. Then we went to lunch. And after we were done our lunch, we were essentially done with Hailey being an Oiler for a day. But that doesn't stop her day from being over. Oh, no, 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 no. After this, she went with her mom to go see a concert. She went to go see Alexandra Kay. And as for Hayden, well, I mean, we didn't leave him out. He got to go see the Edmonton Oil Kings season finale game with me. So, needless to say, it was a very busy 2 days for not just myself, but more so for Hailey. I'd like to think that she definitely enjoyed the experience. I know I enjoyed watching her go through the experience. I mean, kid being drafted for a day by the Oilers, getting a jersey to boot. Yes, sir, that's awesome. But that, in a sense, is the story of when Hailey was an Oiler for a day. Let me know your thoughts on this whole thing. I thought it was pretty cool. So that was another one from Trev TV. I want to thank you for tuning in. Don't think I don't appreciate the gesture, especially if you're tuning into this point. If you've made it to this point, congratulations, my friend. You've made it to the end. I'm so proud of you. But if you have made it to the end, if you're digging what I'm doing, you just want to say, hey, I'm all for it. Feel free to throw a thumbs up. Trust me, I'll never say no to a free thumbs up. I mean, it helps this channel out a lot, so I'll never say no to getting help on the channel. If you want to, hit that red button, the one that says subscribe on the bottom there, feel free to hit that. Come on, you know you want to. I know you want to. The algorithm knows you want to. So let's help the subscriber count on this channel. Let's get that built up. If you want to, that link in my description below, that'll take you to my Facebook page. Feel free to join that. I mean, I'd love to build the audience on Facebook like I built the audience here on YouTube. And I mean, like I said, I'll never say no to more exposure, so it's always a great thing. And moving forward, well, I mean, with the frequency that I pop out videos on this channel, I hope to be doing some more. But either way, in the meantime, and in between time, if you look for more videos from Trev, later.